Yo, what's up, guys? So this is another story. That last video is like one of my top viewed videos. At the time I'm recording this, it is at about 600 and something views. I cannot speak English today. And this one is a little bit longer. It's like 10 minutes or something. This one took me a bit, and I haven't been posting because, well, it was Easter weekend, and then I just didn't feel like it for the next week. So yeah, we're here. Yeah, scary gorilla tag theme story. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. So let's get into the story.
Gorilla Tag, Eternal Escape Prologue, The Invitation. Aaron never thought a random VR game would change his life. It was only supposed to be an escape, a departure from the mundane, real world. A couple of hours to keep him unaware of his responsibilities. His responsibilities that had begun piling up on him in recent times: job, relatives, bills, a mad world that he had no control over. But in the single moment that the headset was placed over his eyes, everything shifted. He'd seen the ad online. Gorilla Tag VR. Step into a world of adventure, freedom, and fun. Harmless enough sounding. A gorilla tag game where you could jump, swing, and outtrend your pals. The game had loaded, and Aaron was unexpectedly inserted into the vivid map of the forest. The atmosphere was carefree, the sun shining bright and cheerful. It was business as usual in VR. Today was not business as usual, though. There was something out of place in the lobby. Trees were not trees. They were different. Leaves had a deep crimson color. There was dew on the grass, or perhaps it was something other than dew. It radiated. He played with his hair. Must be a bug. He pounded at his controller. The voice chat crackled on his headphones as though players were around, but there were none close at hand. An empty canvas. And then the whisper. One life, one chance, escape, or be erased. There was a cold sweat down his spine. The screen flashed with images. One moment, no turning back was possible. Forest. The beginning. Aaron jolted back into the real world. The previously cheerful and welcoming forest map had been distorted. The trees were too high, looming overhead like shattered glass. Their limbs moved unnaturally, black veins splitting through the bark. The sky had darkened, darkening clouds churning in the air. He began to take a deliberate step closer when he heard it. A deep, guttural growl. Out of the darkness emerged a tree lurker. It's great. Clawed hands scraped across the ground, and its red eyes blazed as it leveled the mat. Aaron, it was different from any monster he had ever encountered in the game. Heretofore, its body was made of darkened bark. Its stance crashed like a twisted tree, and it moved forward with the slow, unhurried grace of an animal. Aaron's heart raced. He didn't know if this was a hack or if something about the game had changed, but he didn't have a doubt. This was real. His legs propelled him before he could think. He ran along the trees, dodging sideways to get clear of the tree lurker's claws. It shrieked behind him, a sound that shook his bones through the forest. He caught sight of a glowing blue portal ahead of him and didn't hesitate. As the claws raked across his back from the lurker, Aaron leapt forward, landing in the portal. Caves. Descent into madness. The air was dense, chilly, damp. The cave's map bore no resemblance whatsoever to what Aaron remembered. Walls closed in on him, suffocating him, as if the cave itself breathed. His flashlight turned on. It's eerie. Low, resting on peculiar inscriptions etched into the stone. Names, dozens. Aaron froze where he was. The names registered, player handles from the lobbies. He recognized a few of them. Players who had been inside the game and never returned. Suddenly, a shrill scream pierced the air above. A shadow glided across the ceiling, the cave howler. Its transparent body inverted, its face twisted in an eternal scream. Its eyes were voids, and its mouth was stretched impossibly wide as it screamed once more. Aaron's heart raced in his chest. He sprinted down the corridor, the howler dropping from above, its claws tearing at the rock as it gave chase. He reached a junction in the corridor and stopped, taking the left fork out of desperation. The howler did not falter. It crowded behind him, its joints cracking like old wood with each movement. He had to move fast. He reached a narrow ledge over a chasm. The howler was closing in. Aaron searched wildly around and spotted on the other side a shattered pillar. He jumped, reaching the gap just as the howler smashed into it, claws raking past him by mere inches. Barely on the other side, he glanced upwards and spotted another brilliant portal. He jumped through it. Canyon! The silence screamed the moment Aaron stepped into the canyon map. The temperature dropped. The atmosphere was vast and desolate. The steep cliffs loomed over him, and the wind howled, carrying the scent of decay. The ground under his feet was cracked and dry. There was one other thing, though something was watching him. He sensed the flapping first. The canyon wraith descended upon them from the sky above, a grotesque creature with skeletal wings that shrouded the sky. It flew over Aaron, its empty, hollow eyes locked on him. Then it dived. Aaron sprinted, but the wraith was faster, swooping down like a bird of prey, its claws scraping over stone as it tried to snatch him from the ground. Aaron dodged through massive stone pillars, using the terrain to his advantage, but the wraith adapted. It didn't have to come down. It just hovered above him, waiting patiently. He had no other option. He ascended the canyon wall, his fingers tearing against the stone. His muscles burned, but he couldn't stop. Not now. Beyond the top of the canyon, he spotted the familiar shine of a portal. He leapt. Mountains, frostbite snow, unyielding, cold snow. Aaron crinkled from the blistering gust as he walked into the mountain's map. The blizzard was thick, the wind slicing through his skin. Everything was covered in white, except for the outline of a massive figure in the distance. The Frostborn. The creature was gigantic, taller than any human, and made of snow and ice. Its face was frozen in pain, and its eyes radiated with blue light, as if winter itself had moved inside them. It wasn't quick. It didn't need to be. It was in every place. Whenever Aaron glanced away, it was closer. Aaron ran through the snow, but his steps sank deep into the white, making a trail for the Frostborn to follow. Regardless of how many times he tried to hide behind rocks or trees, the monster's gaze was on him, as if it could see all his movements. He gasped for air. The cold was seeping into his bones. He needed to get out of there. Finally, after what felt like hours, he saw it, a cave, the entrance half buried in snow. He plunged in, fighting for air. But the Frostborn was not far behind, its icy breath turning the earth below to ice. He escaped through the next portal just in time. Beach, tides of terror, the waves crashed on the shore. But the water was dark, its surface boiling with something darker beneath. The drowned one, the creature slithered from the waves, its body bloated and decaying. Seaweed hung from its body, and its vacant eyes looked at Aaron, pulling him down into the sea. Its arms were long and skeletal, its fingers curled into claws, and it moved at an unnatural speed, pulling itself across the sand with a pace that was too fast. Aaron ran, but the sand he was running on was not solid. It flowed, like quicksand, pulling him away with every step. The drowned one crawled behind him, never ceasing. Aaron grabbed a chunk of driftwood on the ground and used it to defend himself while he ran towards a half-sunken lighthouse in the distance. But the drowned one crawled up the lighthouse with eerie rapidity. He ascended to the top, observing the familiar glow of a portal. With one last, desperate leap, he sprang in. Clouds, the storm islands floating in the air. The clouds were thick and dark, boiling in ominous shapes. Aaron stood on one of the islands, his legs unsteady as the wind howled around him. This was no longer the fanciful map it had been. The sky harpies trailed behind. Their cries were deafening as they came down, razor-sharp talons slicing through the air. They swooped down at him, but Aaron was quick, dodging between drifting islands and using the clouds to his advantage. He had learned something from the other monsters. You could not outpace them, but you could outwit them. He jumped from island to island, using the clouds as a shield. But the harpies did not stop, their screams echoing in his mind. He spotted the portal finally, at the edge of a floating island. He jumped. The final level, clash with the god the portal led into a void. A black, bottomless pit. Lightning cracked the sky, flashing over the void. In the center of the void stood a giant figure, the god of Tag. The shape of the god was a fluid, ever-changing mass of static, flickering in and out of existence. His face was hidden behind layers of code, but his voice boomed over the void. "You've come a long way," he told him, "but it's too late. There's no escape now." With a wave of his fingers, the monsters, all of which Aaron had fought, appeared, their bodies contorted and monstrous. Aaron was surrounded. The god laughed. "You may have avoided my traps, but you cannot avoid your destiny." But Aaron was not afraid. He had traveled this far, and he was done fleeing. As the monsters closed in, Aaron unleashed his power, encasing them all in a glowing, malevolent prison. The god screamed, rage shaking in his voice. "You dare defy me?" The ground shook. The shape of the god stumbled and reeled around in a madcap dance. Then his body unraveled itself, exploding in a storm of code and light. It rained down around Aaron, but he didn't move, watching as the last of the god's energy was drained away. Epilogue: the new god Aaron remained standing in the wake. The world was silent, the monsters ensnared, their fate decided. But something had changed within him. His hands emitted unnatural strength, the same strength once possessed by the god. He could sense it coursing through him, the strength to command, to shape. The voice of the void echoed in his mind. "You killed the god. Now you are the god." Aaron's eyes were red. He was smiling, and the world trembled.
Alright, so that's pretty much it for this little story. Also, I don't know how it shows in my recording, but I am lagging so hard right now. Like, the frames is like -2 right now. But, yeah, I hope y'all enjoy the story. I am not working on another one, but if y'all want it, if y'all want another one, let's get this video to, let's get this video to 10 likes. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So see y'all next time.